Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're going to be doing another outfit guide. And today we're going to be doing Dal Traven, or Sam Elliott's character from, I believe, the 1982 film, The Shadow Riders. I can't remember if that's the year it came out, but I think it was the early 80s. And this was a film starring Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck as brothers who had fought on different sides of the Civil War. And now they've come together to stop, I believe, gun running. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but it's a solid enough feature film. It's pretty stereotypical 80s Western, if I'm being honest. And with that being said, I've already done Mac Traven, who is Tom Selleck's character, so if you want to find that, it's on the channel. And today we're going to be doing Dal Traven. And so we're going to go through this like we always do. I'll show you how to imitate the guns, at least as best as I can in this case, since they're kind of vague. And then we're going to do hair and facial hair, and finally the outfit, so that you can pretty closely imitate this iconic character from Western media. So let's just dive on in and start off with guns. And so starting us off, we're going to be starting with his sidearm. And now this is where, like I said, we're going to be doing things a little bit vaguely, because it's the same thing as when I did my Mac Traven video. You can't really find specific information about the guns used in this film. And now before anyone says it, I've already checked the Internet Movie Firearms database. It's not on there. The Shadow Riders isn't on there, or if it is, I could not find it. I couldn't even find it by going to Sam Elliott's page. And just in case, I also went to Tom Selleck's page and still couldn't find the Shadow Riders on there. So apparently this movie is either so unpopular that nobody thinks it's worth the time, or there's some sort of a conspiracy to make sure we have no idea what guns they're using in the film. That being said, judging from a couple scenes from the movie where you can kind of get somewhat of a clear glimpse, and just my really shoddy memory since it's been years since I've seen this movie, I'm remembering that it had somewhat accurate firearms. I want to say they were using cap and ball revolvers, which would make sense considering it takes place right after the Civil War. So in the 1860s, mid-1860s, before all of your iconic cartridge revolvers and guns would have even existed. And so we're going to be starting them off with the Navy revolver. And now you could go either way. You could use the LeMat revolver, and since Dal Traven was the former Confederate, it would actually kind of make sense and be fun for roleplay to put the LeMat revolver with him. Either way, I just prefer the Navy revolver. That's why I chose it here. And it was obviously much more common to use a Colt 1851 Navy or the 1860 Army. I can't remember. I think it was 1858 Navy or the 1860 Army. Those were the two most common cap and ball revolvers used during Civil War. But anyway, with all that being said, we're going to be going for a pretty factory look. So we're going to have the standard barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, ironwood grips with any old dark varnish, whatever you like, will work absolutely fine for this, because there was just an immense amount of variation. Most often the grips on these guns were birch or walnut, but whatever, you can go for whatever color you want, because the stain wasn't determined by the color or the type of wood. And then we're going to be going for a relatively factory look for it. And so for that, you can take a lot of different approaches. The one I've chosen to do here is the brown steel for the barrel, the hammer, and the trigger guard, blackened steel for the trigger and the frame, and we're going for brass for the cylinder, as brass cylinders were relatively common as a machined metal in these guns. So with all that being said, there's a lot of different ways you could go. This is just one of my favorite ways to go for that stock sort of factory look for an 1858 Navy. But that is all for the sidearm. He appears to only use one. I don't know if there's scenes during the movie where he uses more than one, but I only remember one. So that is the gun, the sidearm for him. And then I do remember a scene, or at least I'm pretty sure I remember a scene where Dal Traven had to go or went into town to get a Sharps rifle so he could do some sharpshooting. And the closest we have to a Sharps rifle in this game is a rolling block rifle, which comes relatively close. If we could take the scope off, it would be even better, but we can't, so I just put the short scope on there. So no carvings, no engravings, no wrap. Like I said, short scope. And then I used the dark walnut varnish, but really any dark varnish would be fine. And then for metals, I just kept it stock with all of it being brown steel. A, I think it actually looks quite cool. I really like that look. It's just dark and understated. And B, it looks, like I said, a lot, or as close as we can get to a Sharps rifle in the game. So those are the two guns that we're going to associate with Dal Traven in this outfit. For our hair and facial hair, we can come relatively close to the way that he looks in the film. It's not perfect, because it never is, because the Red Dead Online hair and facial hair options are terrible. But we can come decently close, especially with the hat on. So for the hair, we're going to do the windswept hairstyle, because he does have longer hair. It's hard to say exactly how he looks, but this is one of the few movies I can think of where Sam Elliott actually doesn't look super old. He looks upper middle-aged. And so we're doing the windswept hairstyle in the 15th color variant, which is sort of the graying dark brown or black. it comes relatively close, and like I said, the style is actually quite right. So that's the hair. For the facial hair, we can't do it super well because it's not a substantial enough mustache. There's a way more substantial mustache, but that one's too big. So I think the best option is to go with the walrus, and then I went with the 14th variant because his facial hair still appears to be more brown and less gray, and so that is the facial hair option we have here. And then we are going to want stubble because he has rather aggressive stubble in the film. We can't get nearly as dark as he has it, but, you know, this is the best we can do. So that is hair and facial hair for Dal Traven from the Shadow Riders. And here, finally, we have the outfit, and I think it actually turned out pretty dang good. So I'll be comparing it to a picture at the end when I show you through all the items, and I think you'll agree it actually comes out looking an awful lot like he does, at least in that one shot from the film, which is his most iconic outfit in my opinion. So let's just go through the items that make up this outfit. So as is almost always the case, the spot that we have the most trouble imitating is the hat, and the hat that he wears in the film appears to be a cavalry hat, like a military cavalry hat from the Confederate States. So it's a light off-white, tannish, beigeish color, and it's got this stereotypical wide brim and high crest of the cavalry hats there, and it's curved, you know, down a little bit steeper on the front, up on the side, and pinched near the top. We don't have anything that super accurately reflects that, but I think that the 5th variant of the Stalker hat, this light beige version of that, comes the closest in shape, size, and color, and so that is why I chose to go with this hat. That's the hat, though, for this outfit. In the film, he has a large red bandana that kind of hangs down to his belly button. We don't have anything nearly that large or aggressive, but we can just use the 22nd variant of the patterned bandana, this red one. It matches the color and style of it well enough, if not being absolutely massive like the one he wears in the film. The shirt was another relatively hard part to match. He has what looks to be sort of a woolen shirt on in the film. It's kind of hard to tell if it's just that or some sort of weird speckling, but it appears to be woolen to me. And it's sort of a dark grayish blue, so decently difficult to imitate, but given the contrast between his shirt and his pants, I decided to go more towards blue than gray, so we'd have more of a standout here. I went through a bunch of different styles before I settled on the pattern shirt. I think the 7th variant of the pattern shirt is the closest to looking like his does in the film, and I think it looks pretty dang good. So that's the shirt we're going to go with, but if you don't have this one, like I said, it's a pretty standard looking grayish blue shirt. He does wear suspenders in the film, and they are iconically sort of a light green color, and that contrasts with the grayish blue shirt in an interesting color palette. But I went with the Crutchfield suspenders, and I did the 7th variant, so we had the green ones here. Any green suspenders would be fine. These are just the ones I decided to go with. For our gun belt, he just has a plain brown gun belt that does not appear to have bullet loops on it, which makes sense given the fact that these would be cap and ball revolvers, so you would have ammo pouch and a powder container or something like that, as well as primers. But this is the gun belt I decided to go with, the 1st variant of the gunslinger gun belt, so this brown one. For our pants, the 7th variant of the clerk pants, these clean gray ones, are actually pretty much perfect for the ones he wears in the film. They're not absolutely perfect, but they come pretty dang close. He's wearing relatively clean and uniform looking non-patch gray pants, and so this works well. And like I said, we're going for that color contrast between the shirt and the pants, and this matches the one from the picture that I based it off of pretty much perfectly. Then for our boots, I think the closest ones to the ones he wears in the film are the 1st variant of the Warren Roper's boots, these slightly more worn out black ones. And an important detail, he is not wearing his boots Texas style. He is not wearing them tucked on the outside of his pants. He is wearing half chaps in the film. So the military half chaps are the best option to go with those boots for his footwear. And we're going to use the 2nd variant because they match the color of his the best from the film. So that is the footwear for Dal Traven. And all of that put together is the outfit. So like I said, looking at them side by side, I think you'll agree it actually does a pretty good job of capturing his look. This is one of the better imitations I think we've ever done here on the channel because none of the items are totally wrong. Usually on outfits like this, we have to compromise 1 or 2 items that we couldn't get anywhere near what they look like from the film, but I think here we have pretty much every single one of them nailed down pretty well. So that is Dal Traven, Sam Elliott's character from the Shadow Riders. If you haven't seen the film, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is not one of the greatest westerns ever made, but it is one that I quite enjoy. So that is all for his outfit, and that's where we're going to end this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you're a fan of this movie, awesome. I know there aren't a ton of people who are because it must not have been very popular, which makes sense given the rather mediocre storyline, script, and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to imagine a film in the 80s, especially a western film, starring Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck not being one of the best westerns ever made, but believe it or not, it's actually not. That being said, I enjoyed making this outfit. It was a request from quite a long time ago that I just finally got around to. If you have any requests for outfits you'd like to see, or maybe you disagree with something I said in this video, or you think that there was a clothing item that I could have used that would have been better than the ones I chose, all of of that sort of stuff, you are more than welcome to leave down in the comment section below. I can't promise that I will get to all requests, because I basically just come back to Red Dead when I get sick of covering a different game because I like this game better. So you never know if and when I'll get to a request, but if I do get the time, there's a good chance I will. So definitely leave those down in the comment section below. But in any case, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.